Hi, welcome back. In today's video, we are going to talk about default arguments. We would like to write a program where a function can handle different numbers of arguments. Here we are having a class called Matplotlib. Inside this class, we are defining a function called add. And this add function has three arguments as you see here, apart from self. Argument A, argument B, and argument C. So here, this function, when it is called, it is going to add A plus B plus C. So A added to B added to C. So it is going to calculate this and return the output for us. But what does it mean that we are having C equals 0 in the arguments in our add function? We never had that before. So this is the default argument. So if I call this function and use two arguments, which are A and B, then by default, it is going to assign number 0 to be argument C. Okay. But if I call this function with three arguments, the third argument is going to replace that 0. Let me illustrate it with an example. Here we are creating an object from the Matplotlib class, and using that object, which is called math, we're calling the add function. So math.add. Then here we are having two arguments, 5 and 3. So 5 is for A and 3 is for B. So when I call this function with these two arguments, although it requires three arguments here, it is going to consider A equal to 5, B equals to 3, and C equals to 0 by default when we have no third argument. Therefore, it is going to calculate 5 plus 3, so the output is 8. As you see here, when we run the code, we see 8 here. However, if I call the very same function, but this time we have three arguments instead of two. Here, A equals 5, B equals 3, and C equals 2 this time. So when we have a third argument, this third argument is going to be assigned to a variable or argument or parameter C, let's say. Then it is going to return 5 plus 3 plus 2. So this is what's going to happen. So what we learned from the default argument is the following. If we are having, for example, a function like this add, and it has three arguments, A, B, and C equals 0, it means that we are having the third argument as a default argument. Therefore, it is possible for us to call the function only using the first two arguments, A and B. This is why when we call the function with 5 and 3, it works and it gives us the output. However, if I call the function using three arguments like 5, 3, and 2, that last argument is going to be replaced this 0, okay, and C will be equal to the last argument, which is 2, and then it is going to calculate A plus B plus C. This is how we can work with default arguments in Python. Thank you for watching.